Session is now being recorded. I'll hand it over to Vic Charis with the Iowa Department of Education.
Okay, good morning, everyone. You can see from the list of updates, there are quite a few changes coming up in our program. We thought this would be a good way to reach out and keep all of you informed. Going to be some special webinars coming up just to provide you with more detailed information as we get it. This was actually a replacement webinar. We had another one we were trying to schedule, so I thought it would be okay to use updates. So let's get started. First item RFA that's opened. Question?
Like we just had one comment that it's a little hard to hear you.
Okay.
Is there any way to turn the volume up?
Let's see.
Now, if you are in the conference line and we're hearing just a little bit of background noise, you can press *6 to mute your conference line until you're ready to speak, and then *6 will unmute it again.
Okay, I got the microphone volume up all the way. Is this better?
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Okay, good. So our first item is the RFA that opened up the beginning of September. And let me say that we are following what's going to be our regular schedule. It's our plan to have these RFAs open in September, and I want to give you until December to complete your applications. We couldn't do that last year because the government shut down and because there was some information the feds wanted from us. So it caused a delay, but that wasn't normal. If you look at the amount, those of you that remember last year, we only awarded $6 million. We're going to be awarding $6,681,550.45. So that's a pretty substantial increase from last year. I've put the link to the department website. And, you should have that bookmarked if you're a program director, because that's the official place where we put all of the RFAs and the evaluation. So we've already started. We've had 3 technical assistance meetings. We've got one more coming up.
We heard somebody's announcement, so if you'd please just press *6 on the conference line, that'll mute your line.
Okay, so we've got one more face-to-face meeting coming up in Council Bluffs in 2 weeks, and then we have a statewide webinar that's going to be coming up in November 4th, that no matter where you are, you'll be able to get the same information. So at this section here, if anyone has a question about the RFA, you could ask your question now, or keep in mind that you can always email me or call me with any specific questions you may have. That's my job, to provide technical assistance for you as you make your application, and to reach out to certain areas where there's high poverty, where there's rural areas that have been underserved, so that we spread the funding around the state as much as we can. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Cohort 7, comprehensive visits. Those of you who are on Cohort 7, you'll notice that your grant contract says it ends in June 30th, 2015. However, that's your 3 years of full funding. And what we're going to do, it's going to be radically different this time around, will be to do a comprehensive visit. It should take about 2 days. And you'll have 4 meetings that you'll have to arrange locally with stakeholders. This visit will provide a recommendation for you to get an additional 2 years of funding at 75%. And that's a little bit better than the previous grant that did an automatic 75 and a 25. And that's going to end the 5-year grant cycle. When the feds did their audit of us, there was confusion. Some people thought this was a 10-year grant, and by statute, it can only go up to 5 years. And I know in the past they had a 5-year continuation, but it was misleading because it actually was a new grant, and it was a new grant that you were getting only half as much money to run your program. So we are developing some new understandings. I don't want to go below 75% because it kind of shortchanges you as a program. And for us as a state, we needed to improve our monitoring of our programs, and this forces us to have a little better visit with you at least once within 5 years. That aligns with regular school improvement visits that occur every 5 years. So that puts us in a good place as a state, and these changes, all these changes that we're making is to better report our data, better comply with the regulations, and that puts us in a better position to keep getting more money. And that's always should be our goal. The more money we get, the more kids we can serve. As soon as I get the protocol for this approved, I will be sending it out to all the Cohort 7 members. But there's a couple of things we're discussing yet at the DE, and as soon as it becomes final, you'll get that information. So, any questions on the comprehensive visits?
There's somebody on the conference line and we can hear your conversation. If you would please go ahead and press *6 on your phone. That will mute your line. Thanks.
Okay. All right, thank you for that. All right, since I don't see any questions going in the chat, let's go on to the next item. PPICS replacement. The feds have finally announced that a webinar that's going to be later this week for states, updating us on their plan to replace PPICS. Right now, I know very little. So as we get more information about what the company is, maybe I'll be able to get some screenshots to show you. However, I wouldn't worry too much because the data that we collected in the PPICS was called a GEPRA measure. And that was something that the Office of Management and Budget collected and sent to Congress every year in an annual report. So I don't think they'll be changing those data fields that we collect. So, for example, we're going to be collecting attendance, just like we collected it in PPICS. But what I think is going to look different is the user interface. You know, it's going to be have probably a different color scheme. The boxes will be, they'll look different, but the data should be the same. I'd like to have a special webinar on the PPICS replacement as soon as we know enough and have enough information to share with you. So be aware that that will be coming, although I don't know exactly when. Any questions on the PPICS replacement?
Really like a webinar on PPICS since this is our first year for the grant. So if you could definitely let us know, that would be great.
Okay. Yeah, if some of you that just started, if you're in cohort 9 and you just started your grant now, you don't have to worry about PPICS. You'll be starting out in the new system. So it may actually be a little easier for you.
Okay, so
Good question.
just for clarification, Vic, Burlington does not have to put it in PTIX this year like previous years for the other grantees?
PPIX is a year behind. If you started this year, you wouldn't be putting anything in until next year.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
But Jackie, so just to clarify, so PPIX is being phased out, and so that's why we're waiting on details to figure out what the new platform for inputting data will be.
Okay, thank you, Indira.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's go on to the next one. Evaluation. The feds had a special webinar for states announcing that they want to make some changes in evaluation, and they basically said two things that they want from now on. They want states to provide an annual state evaluation. Well, that's not a problem. We've been doing this now for a couple of years, so we're right on track. And the second thing is that they want programs to begin to post their evaluations online on a public website to inform the community. We've been doing this too. So it's we're a little bit ahead of some of the other states, which is a good thing. So this should be a painless transition for us to meet their requirements. See a question coming up. Thanks. Yep. And basically we require just the evaluation, but once you start putting a website together, it's really beneficial for you as a program. You put pictures up there, you put enrollment forms, your schedule, let the community know who are your partners, and give your partners a little bit of credit, and it's just a win situation for us. So, all right, let's go on to the next one. Professional development. I had sent out kind of a preference for PD, and there's some PD that may be required by law or by district policy. They might want all volunteers to have, maybe the district says everybody should do bloodborne pathogens. They may say everybody needs to do CPR. Whatever those requirements are, that's a priority. The second priority is your state activities, which are the Iowa After School Alliance workshops, the Impact Conference, and then you can do online PD, and then finally the out-of-state PD is kind of the if you've done everything else, then that's kind of a reward. You get to go to the national conferences or some other out-of-state conference, and that's the only thing that you have to ask permission, and that's a federal requirement. So it's pretty easy. Just send me an email with where you want to go, and you get an email response back. Now, we are working on some literacy PD with United Way. We want to offer this in several locations around Iowa. And it's going to focus on vocabulary instruction for after school. So we're having some meetings on that now, and we'll be updating you with the locations on some of this professional development as well. Okay, any questions on this? Right. Then the next one, Google CS for middle school. We've partnered with Google for a free program for middle school after school, and Google provides all the materials, all the training at no cost, and they do virtual training with you based on your schedule. So if you want to do it after your program's done with kids at 6 o'clock, Google will be there. If you want to do it on a Saturday, Google will be there. And this is the website, and I'm going to move on to the next slide and show you a map. They're really growing. earlier this year, the only place that Google had sites was in South Carolina. And you can see there's a lot of them there. Then now you can see they've been moving all over the country. There's an official site in Council Bluffs. There's a couple in Texas. And there's a few more scattered out around the country. So this is going national, and it's a good program. It uses a program called Scratch from MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. And the program used to be it works great with a Chromebook and basically anything that you can use with a web browser. So if you've got Apples, it'll work with that. If you've got PCs, it works with that. So it's a nice activity for our middle school folks. Any questions on this? Okay, let's go to the next one. Childcare. I sent out an update on the DOE rules on childcare, and we had a meeting, and it was determined that 21st century programs are categorically exempt. However, if you are receiving DHS childcare funds, you will fall under DHS rules for childcare, and this is a real simplification of the very complex set of understandings that go with this. And we had some contacts from folks at the Department of Education that can help guide you through this. This is not, for some folks, it's going to be easy. For other folks, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but we're going to help you as much as we can. Let me just say too that the professional development from the Iowa After School Alliance will provide you with DHS CEU credits. So as we get more on this, we'll be sharing it out with you. And I see a question here. Somebody typed in, Lisa. Yes, you can use this Google for elementary. However, the Google program was designed for middle school. If you search under Scratch, you'll find that there are teachers that have developed elementary lessons. So right now, Google is really pushing to have this at the middle school level, and that's because Google also has things for the high school level, and they want to start scaffolding kids into computer science. So there's a ton of material all the way down to elementary for kids to use this program, but Google is focused on a few lessons that are geared to middle school kids. So I would suggest, contacting Google. They may still be willing to train you at the elementary level, and you would you'd have to do some adapting of the lessons. And also, you can email me, and I can send you some more information about resources that are out there. There's only one contact person for Google CS, and his name is Joe, and I believe we have his contact information posted on the wiki site. But if you email me, I can send you the contact information in a direct email. Okay, the Impact After School Conference for next year. We have been growing every year, and it cut off a couple of the letters here. I guess it's due to different resolution on my computer compared to this one here. Anyway, we're moving to a bigger hotel. It's the Ramada Tropics on Merle Hay, and it also has a water park. And there's a special rate of $55 a night that'll include the water park. So we're going to have more space, and that's going to mean we'll have more sessions available. So some of you should really consider doing a session at this conference. Thank you, Indira. She just posted the information for the Google contact. So that's the last slide that I have. I just wanted to give you a quick update on some of these things we've got happening. And as always, if you have any questions, you can email me, you can call me, and I look forward to seeing you guys at a lot of the PD sessions. And one thing I didn't put a slide together that I wanted to just mention is Iowa was selected to present at the national conference, and I sent that out to everyone, and I appreciate that I've gotten back some responses from folks who will have volunteered to help share out. The way I envision this presentation is I'll show a couple of slides, maybe for 10 minutes, about some stats in Iowa that every year we've been adding kids, and that we have increased our attendance of over 30 days as a state. And what I'd like is some of you that are going to go to this conference maybe to share out your local experiences on some of the great things, like you might have some wonderful partners, you might have a great share out. And I want this to be more about what we're doing for kids, because that's always should be our focus. Okay, so if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask them or type them in. Oh, let me make Indira the host. Okay. This conference, the national one, is in February. And I'll get this information sent out. So I'm sure we have it. If you've already attended, they sent you a direct email. Our state conference is the end of April. I believe it's the 24th and the 25th. Indira just sent out I think it went out in the Iowa After School newsletter. So that's another thing. If you're not getting that, you're not on the Iowa After School mailing list, I would advise you to get on there. There's just a ton of information that comes out every month. Every month there are grant opportunities. If I find out about a grant, I don't email you guys out directly. I send it on to the Alliance, and this gets compiled into that monthly bulletin. So, they help me to send out communications, and then we put a lot of that stuff as a resource on the wiki site. Thanks, Jenna. I saw that that you guys have been licensed, and appreciate you helping anyone out that with your experience. So that's good. Well, our programs will get stronger as we help one another, and that's going to be making a big difference for kids. So I'm looking forward to being able to award more grants this time than last year. And we should be able to have more children served this year than last year as well. So that's a good thing.